Okay. So this is our every other Monday night team Zoom. We're switching it every other Monday because Dan Bell and the bigger organization is doing them on Monday nights too, right after our leadership call. So this is our time to get together and chat and share ideas. So we are recording it for those who couldn't be here, but always check on the Janet's team page to see whether we'll be on that particular Monday or not. So, hello. One of the things that I learned over the last week or so is the importance of us not being the expert. And if we come off as an expert to our clients, they're going to be way less likely to think that they can coach. And this is something I've learned over the years, especially because I came in as a dietitian. And when I first started coaching, my ego was that of a dietitian. So I felt like I had to be very sciencey and explain everything in detail. And when it came to inviting people to join us as a coach, their answer was consistently, well, I can't do that. You know, you're a dietitian. This is your thing. So even though anybody watching this is not a dietitian, perhaps, if we come off as an expert, they're going to be less likely to want to come on board. So we want to really keep things very simple. And Nora, you want to add a little to that? Because we both learned this week.
Yeah, I think it's not only coming off as like an expert, like, because I'm also was also in the health and fitness field. Amy, you're coming from the health and fitness field. So people could be looking at us a little bit different, but it's also being the hero coach and giving them all the information and feeling like you need to answer every single one of their questions. And instead of using all the wonderful resources that we have from Optavia. So I think I always have to like take a step back sometimes now when like a situation comes up or somebody asks and say, oh wait, that's what nutrition support is for, or that's what the condiment guide is for, and that's what the dining out guide is for. Definitely there to help them and to guide them, but not necessarily giving them every single answer. And that sometimes is really hard because they want to be the end all be all for this person so that the person stays really engaged, or they might be coming from a different field where they just jump through hoops to appease all of their clientele. And that's not our job as coaches. And the more we empower them, the more they're going to say, oh, I can do this. This is just fun. And look at all the support that there is, that I don't have to know and everything, or I don't even have to know anything because it's all there.
Right. Knowing how to guide them and where to have them turn to. So, if they're asking, well, can we have that? Well, do you see it in the Optavia guide? Or, check the lean list in the Optavia guide, or, check your vegetable guide. Where does it fall? And it's so easy to just give the answer because we know the answers. But again, we want to guide them to the resources because of exactly what Nora says, that empowers them. And we want to teach them to be empowered. And so that was something. So, just anybody else to share anything good that happened this week or something that you learned or.
I would share. So it's so weird how this kind of works out. So somebody friended me from high school and I didn't actually pick up that they were from high school because their last name was different. So I sent them like, oh, I love to connect with people on Facebook. Tell me a little bit about what you do. And then I like took a little second look. I'm like, oh crap, I know her. and then I immediately sent another message and said, hey, I didn't realize this was you. How are you? And we're talking, but then in between, I kind of had looked at who her friends were as how I figured out who she was. And this guy jumped out to me and I was like, I wonder how he is. Let me make sure I'm friends with him. And I went to his page and I was friends with him. And lo and behold, he sends me a private message today. Like, I don't know, this was this morning. And then later this afternoon, he sends me a private message and he says, I think I need your help.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, it was so weird. And then I went back to my Facebook Messenger. And I'm going back to see when this was, in May, I had wished him a happy birthday.
Huh.
He then, we chit chatted about where we were, and then like several different messages, and boom, again. And then like 2 weeks after that, he was like, I think I need your help. I said, sure. That was May 31st. Haven't heard. And then today, he says, I need your help again, and we're talking tomorrow.
See that?
So, what does this tell you?
It tells you that doing the private message of happy birthday is very effective, right? I've
Right?
been doing that, and people are like, oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
and that he's watching.
That he's watching. That, yeah, because that was back in May. We went back and forth, like, a couple of times one day. 2 weeks later is when he said, I need your help. Nothing since May, end of May. And I didn't pressure him. I didn't go back to him trying to get him. I just let him watch. I could have probably followed up sooner, but like kind of fell off my radar. So maybe I should have had him on a follow-up list where I checked in with him.
But sometimes I think it's okay to not follow up and just sort of let it ride, because like Janet said, people are watching. He's watching your post. He sees your post come up. So sometimes I feel like it's almost, it works out better sometimes if you're not on the follow-up mode with maybe the messenger contact people. If it's someone you've talked to or done a health assessment with, like, absolutely follow up. I would suggest in a couple of days, but I found that messenger sometimes it gets a little bombarding. So I just sort of let them go, and they know how to find me.
Yeah.
And they know,
and I think what you could do instead of like, or if you don't want to like follow up about Optavia per se, you could have another conversation about something about one of their posts or something like that, just to make sure that you're showing up on their page so that they can keep watching you.
Totally. Yeah. Because that was May. I mean, I could have followed up in September and said, how was your summer? So, but still, and the weird thing is that I went to his page today because of this other person. And then he, a few hours later, messaged me. I don't know what the heck that was about, but I didn't put anything on his page. But when I went to his page, it made me put him on my mental list of like, oh yeah, he needs my help.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Everybody just needs to keep doing, and, don't necessarily be so concerned about the results. Like if you don't hear back from the person, don't worry. Like they're still there, and it takes months and months and months. There's that, we work in quarters, right? So like what you do in November is going to pay off in February and March. You're planning.
As long as you keep doing the do. And so, Nora, I love what you said. Like, don't worry about the results, worry about the process. And it's the same thing for our clients on their journey. What do we say? Don't worry about the scale. If you're taking the steps, you're eating the food, you're drinking your water, you're getting your sleep, the side effect is going to be weight loss. And gosh, that is so important to get through to them. And you guys, have anybody read Atomic Habits yet? Oh my God, you have got to read it. It's so in line with what we do, and it really gets into about exactly that. Like it's like you can't change your life, you can change your habits, and your habits change your life. I've been putting up a few posts from it because it's so good. But I want to tell you that I have a client who's just 3 weeks in, and I asked her to read this book. She's reading it. She's like, I am almost done with the book. She said it is golden, and she's coming from a big history. She did Medifast years ago, Take Shape for Life, but she never did the program. She just treated it like a diet. And now she's taking it all in. She's watching the Habits of Health calls. She's using her Habits of Health book. And now she's also reading Atomic Habits. And it is so cool to hear the mind shift from her. She's like, this is a whole new ball game. And she's like, I've put the scale away. I'm only going to pull it out once a week. She was like weighing herself at night and in the morning. That's how she came into this. And she's understanding that you want to transform your health. You got to work on, changing your identity in terms of I'm a healthy person. that piece. And one of the examples in it was like, there's a couple of smokers and they're both trying to stop smoking. And somebody comes over to them and offers them a cigarette. And one guy says, "No, thanks, I'm trying to stop smoking." And the other guy goes, "I'm not a smoker anymore." So it just really goes with what we're doing, is like, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm just eating healthy. So like, it's like you have to almost change your identity to who you want to be. So it talks a lot about that too. And if our clients can learn to trust the process instead of worrying so much about the results, you can quit based on the results. No, I'm not losing quick enough. I'm not really seeing the results. I'm going to give up. Well, it's the same thing with us as coaches. Yeah, I'm talking to people, but I really haven't, found any clients, or I've been talking to people about coaching and nobody wants to come on board. It could be right around the corner. We got to not worry so much about the results, but just keep doing the process and trusting the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is the author James Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It was so great because I need CEUs for my dietitian license, and like at the end of the 5 years, and I'm like scrambling to get CEUs, and I was able to read that book and take an exam and get 10 CEUs for it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So,
That's really cool.
So what else? Anybody else? Anything from this past week? Anything? Did anyone jump into the new learning center?
I need to do that.
Yeah. So I just posted the link on on the Janet's team page. You guys, it's great. When you check it out, right now it's only for brand new coaches, but when you look at it, you're going to be like, "Oh my God, I want to bring on a new coach."
It is good. I looked at it a little bit. Did a couple of the interactive things. It's very good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited because Anita just came on board as a brand new coach, and I'm looking forward to plugging her into that and seeing what that's like, to have that really great training.
Yeah. I want to share this story about a client because it kind of is the bigger process as when we're coaching people, that we need to really listen to their needs. So I have this client. She came to me as a company lead. She started the program because her friend gave her a bunch of Medifast ready-made shakes. And she was just under 400 pounds at the time that she came to me. And she's an Uber driver and a Lyft driver and teaches in college. So you may have heard me talk about her. But she really wasn't following the program. She was going to Starbucks every day. She's really suffering from money, but she's going to Starbucks every day, getting those egg bites and a vanilla latte, full fat vanilla latte. And she thought she was still following it, not. Anyways, I connected with her. I met her at a Starbucks last Saturday. We had a really good heart-to-heart conversation. She couldn't do the 5-in-1. She has a lot of weight to lose. She was not following it. She wasn't being compliant. She felt like she needed more food. So when we met one-to-one, we both agreed to do the 4 2-in-1, just to take her out of fat burn because she was going out of fat burn anyways, right? So 1 week, she did the 4 2-in-1. She only went to Starbucks one day and she got a black coffee. She's already figured out she's saving herself $70 a week by not going to Starbucks and doing this.
Oh my gosh.
This is somebody who has no money, right? It was like worried about where she's going to get how she's going to get money in her next order. Guess how much weight she lost in 1 week on the 4 2-in-1?
12 pounds.
14.
Because she's 400 pounds.
Wow.
So she just found that so much easier?
Yeah. She's not hungry. She's feeling satisfied. She's getting more food. The fact that she can have that one, like have a piece.
What's she having for her one?
Some days was doing pineapple. And other days she was doing like a piece of bread.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But so, I talked to her today and I was like, oh my God. Now, when I first talked to her was October. So November, December, January, like all these months where she wasn't ever doing it. And I finally was like, we kept saying, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And we both agreed, get you out of fat burn, don't do it.
Well, that's great because you didn't try to keep pushing her to do something that wasn't working for her.
Yeah.
I have a client now who we're in that kind of conversation because she's just not following the 5 and 1. And yeah, I said, look, we have a lot of options. You can do the 4 and 2. I didn't even say the 4, 2 and 1. I could have thought of that. And I was like, we can use Lose It, and we can come up with, 40. You could put in your goals of 40%, 20%, and use a few fuelings a day, and eat every 3 hours, and like whatever. Like that's an idea. Like you don't have to just do one thing. But I think when you give somebody an option and let them choose, like she did, she was involved in the choice. It wasn't you telling her this is what you have to do.
We talked about the 4 and 2, and then that was still fat burn, and then it still caused this risk of going in and out of fat burn.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about 4, 2, and 1. You don't have to worry about it. You're not in fat
Right.
burn. You're still limited on calories.
And for someone her size, even if she eats an extra 300 calories, she's going to lose weight.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the in and out was not great for her at all.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
That's not to say that somebody that has 100 pounds to lose can't go on the 5 and 1. We've seen it. Karen did it. Albert did it. You don't need to put them on a higher calorie program. But if it's not working for them, you got to discover what their needs are. Like she not only needed more food, but she needed that extra one, like whether it be the dairy or the grain or the fruit. So.
And as a newer coach, if you don't feel comfortable with that, speak to your business mentor or speak to nutrition support. As a newer coach, that might feel overwhelming. Like, well, I don't know what else you could do. That's why you have the business mentors. That's why we have the team approach.
Yeah.
So, okay. Did anybody hear that? Well, you guys probably didn't, but try to listen to the leadership call that was just on. It was pretty good. They always, those leadership calls have great information. So that's just something, we all should put on our calendar, whether it's on Monday or sometime later in the week to listen to it recorded. Anything else? Okay. Well, it's good to keep this quick and short and just check in with each other and, say hello and hear things that, that's going on. Nora, I love your couple of shares tonight. Those were great. Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah. All right. So, Karen, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Yeah, hope you feel better, Karen.
Thanks.
All right. Everybody have a great week.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.